420, 420, for 20 long years. I smoked lots of reefer and drank lots of beer. Every day at 420, we're going to settle the score. And for 20 long years, it's been 20 past 4. Hey, welcome to 420 Live. Jeff Kravitz with the Tuesday edition. We are about 226 shows in the 420 Live. What an adventure it's been. Our daily foray into a conversation, a distraction, a way for you to get away from it all for a little bit. We appreciate all our friends who tune in and check us out. We had an amazing show yesterday. Andrew D'Angelo was so inspiring to listen to somebody that just had made such a difference in all of our lives. I mean, wrote the propositions for cannabis. If you didn't see the show, it's up. It's getting a lot of love on the replays. So thank everybody for tuning in and watching what we come up with here of 420 Live. Today we're going to be with our friend Rich Chassler in just a minute, comedian extraordinaire, actor, businessman, entrepreneur, wine lover. I was just in there looking, just perusing the headlines before I hit the air. And, everything's coming to roost. The numbers are all coming out. All the fudge numbers. We're going to know how many people died in your state there, Ron DeSantis. We're going to know these things. It's all going to come out. Everything's coming out. It's all going to rise to the top. I could feel the change coming. You felt it come of this year with the election, with our new president, someone who is capable of handling everything that's being thrown at him. Maybe the border a little bit iffy, but he's on it. He's on the ball. Joe's on the ball. He knows how to address the issues. He knows how to talk about them. I don't feel my intelligence is being insulted every time I turn on the TV anymore. I feel like there's capable people actually trying to work on the problems instead of trying to figure out how they can stuff their pockets. And there's this problem. How can I get rich? This is beyond me as a human being, as someone that loves the human race and is just trying to always move forward and move the needle. I'm not there not trying to move the needle. I'm not here to not move the needle. I'm here to try to affect change. And, I like people that can make change and make things happen. And, keep going, Joe. Get those needles in his arms. Get our businesses back opened. No fourth wave. We're going to crush this. We're going to do it. I can feel it. I can feel the change. It's starting to affect my calendar. Some places that I'm planning on going. I see a camera in my future, in my hands, at an event, taking photographs, and not within the next couple of weeks. I have some things lined up. 420. It looks like could be working on 420. So we might not even be able to go 420 Live on 420 Live. I'll figure out a way wherever I am. But just thinking that, maybe my fledgling career here as a talk show webcaster is coming to an end as my old career as a photographer comes back in. I could just see the difference in the emails and the conversations I'm having with people. And, I could feel a little groundswell starting, like there's a bubble. Things are bubbling up. I guess that's the best way to put it. Life is bubbling back. I talked a little bit about it yesterday where people are getting their vaccinations and hanging out with their grandparents and, letting them see the grandkids after a year and how amazing it is. And it truly is. It's incredible to see life come back around. BuzzFeed today, they've been harshing on the Miami spring break scene. So they had to go to Santa Monica and break out their telephoto lenses. And, I'm a photographer, so I see a camera. I know when you're compressing the image to make it look like there's as many people in there as possible. There's photo tricks. There's things you could do to make it look more crowded or that people aren't given the distance. But you know what? I am over this. All you COVID shamers out there, all you little, you dropping these little things on Twitter where they come see our COVID coverage of all you nasty people there in Santa Monica walking around outside and being at the beach. Oh my God, there's people on the beach without masks on. I mean, fuck you guys at a certain point. These COVID shamers, I'm over it. I just cannot handle it anymore. I'm done with you COVID shamers. Everybody, you're in charge of yourself. Everybody else is taking care of themselves by getting the needles. Always about the old people and the older generation. I include myself in there, and keeping us safe from you kids and all those diseases you pick up in spring break that you're going to bring back to my house. Give me a break. This will not fly. So we're done. I'm done being afraid. I'm done being shamed. I'm not going to stand for it. And BuzzFeed, you can take that shitty article and use it to wipe your butt. You know, and that's all I'm going to say on it. Anyway, today, my guest, Richard Chassler. I moved to California in 1986. I was a young man of 24 years old. I had, did what every young man does, is try to come out here and make it on my own, and then finally called Dad and would be like, Dad. And it wasn't actually Dad that threw me the lifeline. In this case, it was my mom who gave me the phone number for a gentleman that worked at Paramount Picture, Earl Letts. He is a legend here in Hollywood, especially amongst the Paramount crowd. Earl was an amazing guy, and he gave me a job, or I got a job in the payroll accounting department of Paramount Pictures, where my job was to ride around a lot on a bicycle and pick up time cards of all the guys working on the back lot, your grips, your lighting crew, your plumbers, all the guys that had really good weed. I learned to find out while I was down there. And, coming around a lot, I saw some security guard, would be Rich Chassler, riding around on a bicycle with a tie-dyed, he had a tie-dyed bicycle seat. I've still never seen it. I don't even, Rich, how did you tie-dye the bicycle seat?
Man, I'm not going to, Kravitz, I am laughing so hard. I cannot believe you told that story. I haven't thought about it in a long time. That bike seat, so they hated me in the guard department, because they found out that I didn't want to be a lifetime guard, that I was looking to be in the entertainment industry.
Let's face it, when those guys that we met that worked in that department were there with, when what's her name from Sunset Boulevard drove through the
Gloria Swanson. Yeah, they were there when Gloria Swanson was there. There was a guard there, literally, that was Lucille Ball's personal guard when Desi Liu had the Gower side of the studio.
Unbelievable. Yeah. They were a crotchety old crew, but there were some good hearts in there, and I ended up winning over a couple of those guys. Bob, who worked at the Bronson Gate, he was a tough cookie, but we ended up bonding at the end, and he actually let me drive through the Bronson Gate once.
Oh, he gave you that in the Pinky Mobile?
Yep, in the Pinky Mobile, right out.
Hilarious. His last name was Kleppinger.
Oh, yep, Bob Kleppinger. Classic old guy. So how did you tie? Because that bicycle seat was tie-dyed. It wasn't a tie-dye cover.
No, I tie-dyed that bike seat. Here's what I did. When they shifted me to Graveyard to try to get me to quit, I did all my work early one night, and I went to the paint department. And I was going to do it myself. And there was a guy there who was working on Golden Child, and he was doing work still. He hadn't left. He was on like 12 hours of overtime. And I said, hey man, I want to paint my bike seat. Can you help me? And he goes, yeah, what do you want to do? I go, I want to make it just like multicolored, like he goes, what, like tie-dye? I go, yes. And he took out a couple of rags and he laid them across the seat, and he started spray painting it. And then he got like other like acrylic or oil paints, and he added that to the spray paint. And as he moved the cloths around the seat, he just kept adding more color. And when it was done, I looked at it and I went, yes. And that's exactly how it got done.
I think that's one of the ways we met, actually, was that the tie-dye bicycle seat, because it started a conversation, and then you were like, yeah, I'm a deadhead, and I'm like, wait, you're a deadhead security guard at Paramount?
Yeah, well, what you really said was, ew, you like the Grateful Dead? If you want to start this, the cat's coming out of the bag.
No, that's fine. I admit that I started off as a hater of the Grateful Dead and all my friends in high school that were into it, so I carried that with me to California for sure.
When I met Jeff, he was all about what we used to call classical rock. Not classic rock, classical rock. Genesis, Yes, anything that had like overly orchestrated stuff to it. Kravitz like swore by The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Still do.
I know, man. Believe me, I will listen to any old Genesis any day. But that was your vibe. And then I remember it was like 89 or 90 or 91. I'm in the parking lot.
91, I think, was
the
the LA Coliseum was my first show.
Well, I'm in the parking lot at Expo, and you were with your brother Greg.
Wait. This is even better. I was by myself with my friend Doug Schneeman. He had got his girlfriend had given me a ticket. It was Cal Expo, I want to say 93. And I was tripping balls behind the soundboard. And all of a sudden, I hear the line I'll never forget. At the top of his lungs, Chassler goes, I would swear that he goes, you look just like Jeff Kravitz, but he hates the Grateful Dead.
I had to.
Top of my fucking top was like, and everybody just goes like this.
I had to. I couldn't believe you were there.
I got it. What can I say? I figured it out.
Art is weird that way. Sometimes you don't know until you go to a museum, you stare at a painting, and next thing you know, it's 45 minutes later, and you haven't stopped looking at the painting, you know?
Yes. Well, you know what? After being in the music business for the 4 or 5 years I'd moved in Los Angeles, and seeing what a shit show it was in some ways, as far as, how contrived it all was.
Right.
I was like, I need people that are into what music's all about. And that's one thing about the Grateful Dead. They were at the core of what music is about, creating it live, something different every night, turning that crystal around and seeing every facet of it. And every time you look at it, it's different and unveiling.
Yeah, it's really, when people know that you play music. What they don't know is that you actually started playing Grateful Dead music in my backyard in Venice.
We must have annoyed the hell out of your neighbors.
Man, but this is true, right? After Jerry passed and we started to get together in the backyard. And, people ask me all the time, why do you listen to live music? What's wrong with the studio stuff? And I say, when you listen to live music, what you're listening to is the reason the person started playing music in the first place. It's a different approach to playing. In the studio, you're making a 2.5-minute record or a 7-minute, whatever it is, and it's produced, and there's a guy back there going, can we get more cowbell, please? But when you're at a show, it's like the title of the Dead's album, Without a Net. You're watching people fly. And especially, bands who don't go out there and play note for note the album that they're trying to push. It's exciting. It's something that has risk to it,
Yeah, and it was good. And the Grateful Dead lended itself to at the time, changing my life and getting me away from the repetition of the Hollywood red carpet, which was kind of stifling me creativity, just because it's not a creative space. It's I talk about contrived and planned and orchestrated,
and vacuous, and hey, they're making another Cheer, or what's coming back? Frasier's coming back, because there's just not enough original scripts in Hollywood to read.
Actually, everything's coming back, Rich. Sex and the City's coming back.
I know.
It's nuts.
They're rebooting the reboots. Dude, did you get vaccinated yet? I heard you talking about it up front.
No, I've not been vaccinated yet. Supposedly, I keep seeing these things where everybody in the country can now get vaccinated over the age of 16. But I just was on the CVS website trying to see if I can get vaccinated here. So,
waiting, man. I'm waiting for Moderna to just rape me in the arm.
Well, I kind of want Johnson & Johnson just because I want the one shot. I don't want to have to worry about it, because I could see what's happening with my schedule. And the same thing with you in the comedy world. Things are starting to heat up. I mean, what is happening in the comedy world? Do you find that you're being asked to travel?
Well, I got offered a couple of gigs recently, but the money wasn't great, and it's partially filled rooms, like 50 to 60 people max. They're not paying travel. It's not great yet. A lot of guys aren't going. I'm ready to go. If the gig was right and it was worth it, I would leave town, but I'm really ready to go. I've done a few live things in LA, like a couple of outdoor shows. But I've been doing a lot of Zoom comedy, to be honest with you. It's how it started back then, and then all of a sudden it just exploded into something that is literally I don't want to say it's its own industry, but it's definitely its own aspect of the comedy industry. Zoom comedy.
So how does it work?
You literally do shows online on Zoom, and there's however many comedians on the show. And then there's audience members that come in and watch the show, and then they come up on the grid. So you can see like a full page of people, and you're literally working to a computer screen of people.
Then are you pulling up their little pictures and making fun of their setup in their room and stuff?
Sometimes it depends. I figured out the other night I was doing it, and I was like, wow, you can really work the room. I mean, it does
literally work the room.
Yeah, you can actually. I did a bunch of improv, and you can actually work the crowd. It's totally possible. The rhythm's a little different. You got to wait. It's like working a theater. You got to wait a second.
Yeah, you can't just jump your time. You can't just jump in the other thing. Well, Jeff Ross and a bunch of people, the Comedy Stores did a show out at the Rose Bowl this past weekend, and I saw some of the photographs, and it looks like Jeff is on the set of the Disney movie Cars, trying to make Cars laugh.
That's hilarious. I've done some car shows. To be honest with you, I have. And what happens is you're standing on like a stage that's constructed or a flatbed truck, and the cars pull in and they broadcast it through the radio, and they laugh by flashing their brights or honking their horns.
We're in the fucking upside down. That's ridiculous.
I can't express to you the frustration of that. If you got like a guy with a blown out headlight and you see only like one light, what are you barely clapping? What does that mean?
He's a half a laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
and how do you find a rhythm like with that? You just got to do your act and just do it.
You want to know what's funny about comedy? The word rhythm is really so prevalent. Even people who can't dance. There's that thing about stand-up where you find that rhythm in the room no matter what. Like once you're a seasoned comic and you find that rhythm in the room, like like working a Zoom room. It took me a little while to adjust to that and understand that the delivery is a little more conversational, because you're not at a microphone and you're not talking to the back of the room. It's not like, hey, it's more like, hey.
So your projection's different. Your delivery's different.
Yeah.
And then your immediate, the feedback on whether you're funny or not is definitely not coming as, it's hard to hear the laughs, right? It's gotta be.
It can be. Yes. And it's not a great gauge sometimes to tell you whether or not the joke is funny. I'm one of these guys that look, you got to take a joke on stage 10 or 15, 20 times to see if it's really funny, because it's got to be tweaked and fixed. And, one number could screw it up if you're saying like 12 instead of 17. 17 is a much funnier number, especially if you need to end on a hard consonant. It's like there's all these things about joke writing that you go, oh, that's why that joke didn't work. And you got to work it out a few times. With Zoom, it's a little more forgiving, because you're working, the comedians are in the room just like at the Improv or something, but we all know it's a new medium to do it, and so it's kind of like more supportive. It's not like your friends are in the back of the room going, Chassler, nice hat. What are you doing, the Bowery Boys next week?
Like the heckling game is over now.
Right. The playing field is different.
Right. I mean, you don't have that wise guy wasting off his ass in the front row with 10 of his friends. Like everybody's sectioned off and everybody's trying to be good and keep a mask on. So I guess you have to wear. I guess when you're sitting down, you're not wearing a mask.
Right.
I don't know what the difference is between standing up with the mask and sitting down with the mask.
I don't know, but there's.
I'll tell you what. I don't want to hear a fucking pandemic joke when this is over. I don't want to watch a TV show about the pandemic. I don't care about someone's love story during the fucking pandemic. I don't want to watch pandemic love stories. I'm done. When this is over, I want to pretend it never happened. Just concentrate on the good stuff that we got through the year and everything that we did to survive. But I think trying to do pandemic entertainment. I mean, if someone's like, you should write a pandemic book. I mean, I never want to sit again with, want pandemic. I don't want to repeat the word ever again.
No, I don't disagree with you. As a stand-up, because you have to stay somewhat relevant and topical, I would say that once really, because people are still quarantined right now.
Yeah, I got it. People are still locked up and people are definitely mind fucked. And I've talked to people that just, I got vaccinated. Now I can go to the grocery store. And I'm like, wait, you haven't gone to the grocery store in here?
Yeah, I know.
God.
Like Florida, the numbers are going up 5,000 a day now. You know, there's a huge.
Well, Florida, the whole thing is they've been lying the whole time. That's what's coming out. They just announced that they found 5,000 dead.
Right.
Oh, guess what? 5,000 dead we forgot to tell you about.
Listen, I had a hole in my pocket. I put them in there. They slipped out. I forgot. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you.
All right, come on. What's your best pandemic joke?
Oh, man, I've been locked up.
Way.
I don't know, man. I got to tell you, I've been locked up so long, I feel like an OJ juror.
Oh.
I got a lot of pandemic stuff. I decided during the pandemic that I was going to learn how to cook. I wanted to up my cooking game a little bit. So I decided I wanted to learn how to make authentic Mexican chicken enchiladas from scratch. So I ordered in.
Oh, Rich.
Man,
like I said, fuck the pandemic jokes. No one wants it. I don't think anybody wants to hear it.
Man, it's what it is, you know. I mean, it's a sad thing that, you know, for a year people had to disconnect, but the fact that the internet and Zoom existed, they got to reconnect on a whole different level with much less pretense and a lot more that relatability, like, you know, the way people used to just sit and talk.
Yeah, when you just get on the phone back in the old days, when you would get on the phone, just like talk to your friends, and like everybody in the house shared the same line, and they'd be picking it up, and it'd be like, "Are you still on the phone? Come on!"
Look, I got to tell you, the comedy community could have been completely splintered, totally 1,000% shard all over the universe. But then the internet existed, and Zoom shows started, and then like, okay. I'm going to do a shameless plug, but what I'm going to tell you is absolutely true. So my girlfriend started a comedy platform called Rampaging, and it's got over 1,000 members now. And when she started it, the reason she started it was because she wanted to host an open mic because she was bored at home. And it then wound up becoming 16 open mics and shows, and I'm bringing all my headliner friends there now, and people are doing shows. I'm doing a show once a month. And comedians online, all over the place, have formed groups, have formed these colonies, and have sort of reemerged as a community. But again, like I said, the playing field is a little bit different.
So you're doing group shows on Rampantly. That's a way that a bunch of comedians are doing, like comedy night. They're just doing it online. So is this tied into the Zoom room? It's the same type of thing?
The way it works is like in this particular case. So this is like nothing that exists. Some people are just producing Zoom shows. They go, "Hey, come do my show, Bob's Tuesday night show," and they give you a Zoom link and it goes up on Zoom. But Rampantly is totally different. It's literally like a virtual comedy club. Because you come into, like, you join it, you go to the website, but then there's several different mics. Like if you go to the Comedy Store and there's all these different rooms, you know, the main room, the original room, the belly room, you can do different shows every day. And there's 1,000 people that are members, and people host these shows, and it is literally a virtual comedy world unto itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. So there's the link right there underneath, and Rich's links, Richard Chassler on IG, and the funny wino. Let's talk about your wine aficionado. Rich had me on a little webcast he did when he first started getting in on this, doing drinking different kinds of wine and comedy and wine. Is it just that you're a lot funnier when people are drunk?
That's right. You were on the Grapes of Laugh when we were over at Lovitz. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I fell into it like in 2001 when I moved back to New York. And it actually happened over a conversation with an Italian at how similar the connoisseurship of wine is to the connoisseurship of weed. Seriously, I tried this wine in the basement, this Bordeaux, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. He was like, with an Italian accent, he's like, "When you have the weed, we squeeze, we smell. With the wine, you swirl, you smell. Is this a grown indoors or outdoors? A biodynamic or organic? What is it?" It's farmers. It's all farmers growing. But literally, he spent 5 minutes comparing the connoisseurship of both while we were drinking a Bordeaux that was insane. And I just got it. like the dead.
Well, yeah, because the one thing they talk about in wine when you're sipping wine is the hints, the notes. This has chocolate flavors, and you taste the smoky flavor, you taste the cherry, and the same thing with weed. We taste the pineapple. What's that?
I was going, I was going to say bullshit, because the truth is, yes, with weed, there are certain smells that oily.
I've taken hits of weeds that taste like strawberries and taste like pineapple.
Totally.
You totally taste it. And they're not growing the weed with pineapples. And it's the same thing with wine. They're not growing the wine with chocolate or with cherry or with stuff like that. It's just stuff that you pick up that's inherent in. And it's the only thing that actually a guy in a wine shop in Napa Valley told me this analogy. Because he's like, wine and weed, cannabis are the two things that both have, and like you said, these notes, these flavors that aren't actually in the ingredients, but have, characteristics.
The bullshit that everybody thinks is garbage. That's when I was going, but it's real. The thing is, like, okay, you'll smell a wine or taste a wine or smell a type of cannabis and you'll go, oh, that's lemony. Or you'll smell the wine and you go, oh, mocha and cocoa. And everyone at the table smells the same thing. But then after that, when you start tasting it, you start going, ooh, dark plums, cedar, hot Texas asphalt highway, May 16th, 1972. Like at that point, it really becomes your own palate, because not everyone's going to get the same thing. So a lot of times when you read a bottle and it says notes of dark cherry and walnut sprinkled with vanilla oak.
Yeah.
It's usually the winemaker dictating notes to like the assistant, who will then go and write them down. But it's really the experience with wine, like weed, is so personal, because we'll take a sour diesel and smell that petroleum and that lemon, that gas.
We call that those flavors of the gas, and the other flavors like the pineapple and blueberries or the fruit. I love the fruit.
But then when you exhale it, after you smoke it and exhale it, all those things coming off your palate, you might taste something I might not, Yeah,
but I still think that it's a pretty. All right, we'll play with it. We'll see.
When I see you, when I get back. By the way, I am in Ohio right now. Can you see this?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're in LA in some very trendy neighborhood.
Well, I'm in Ohio in some very trendy neighborhood.
What city?
Oberlin.
Oh, Oberlin. They have a great college there.
There you go.
Oberlin.
There you go. Dude, we could do this for hours. We really could do this there's so much to talk about also. You said affect change earlier.
Yes.
And it's about like, it always roots down to like that thing about like purpose. What's your purpose? Why are you here? What do you find the most joy doing, and what are you the best at? Those two things, when they line up, you kind of find that thing that is really has meaning for you. And I always call it like shifting the wind, that's my little term, like when you can shift the wind, and I just always tell people that same thing. Find something, anything that just makes you happy, that makes you just smile, a little bit of joy, and if it's just for you, great. If you can share it with other people, share it with other people. But I think that's the thing that really affects the change. When people feel some sense of joy in them and they want to share something, that conversation, I think, is the affectation.
Well, it's been hard because, like I said in the intro, also that that people are finding the joy again by being with their older family members and letting them see the younger family members, and everybody able to be together in one spot. So people are connecting again after a year where it's been really hard.
Right. It is. It really, really is. Oh, it really is. But now we're getting shot up and we're going out and we get to see friends again, get to go to people's houses and take baths without asking. Just, hey, can I use your bathroom? Just take a bath.
Can I come in your house? That's the thing first, right? Can I come in the front door?
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Well,
I can't wait.
The times come. I mean, you could feel this thing kind of ebbing. Do you see that? Are you finding that the way you're for this summer? Are you going to seeing things starting to bubble up, or people are just starting to make?
Yeah, I'm starting to see it, and people are saying like come like maybe mid-July, August, the clubs are going to start opening to higher capacity. There's a couple states where they're like opening to full capacity, but
Oh,
like
Louisiana just announced before we came to the air that full capacity. I've got my Tipatina shirt on today. All our friends Tipatinas. Billy Strings was there to this week, and I guess Anders Osborne is there next week, and they got a lot of great music happening. They're open again. They're excited, and they're going to start increasing capacity down there. Everybody in Louisiana, I believe, over the age of 16 is vaccinated. So.
Right. Well, not here. They're not in LA. They're not for sure. But
yeah, we haven't got that. But you know what? There's emails going around. CVS, everybody's trying to get everybody vaccinated, so you can see the whole change coming, and everybody's just lining up for what's next.
I am ready to step on stage again. I am ready to get on a set. I am ready to go see some live music.
Well, the music is coming back. It's already started. The Disco Biscuits played in Orlando this week, and the jam bands are all hitting it. All the young jam bands. Not the Disco Biscuits are young, but
the Kravitz Kooks played down in Mexico.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was. I'll tell you what, the most fun I've ever had with my clothes on.
Believe me, it looked like insane amounts of fun. I'm very, very ready to jam again.
Yeah, it's time. You can feel everybody shaking it off and ready to come out, and people are a lot more relaxed this time around because I just don't want to be mind fucked anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. I want to be able to live my life, but I also want some truth, and I want to just be able to live it safely.
Yeah, and ultimately that's what it's about. What do you got coming up on the horizon?
Well, other than Rampantly, and by the way, let me just give that out. It's rampantly.la for anybody who wants to go there. You can watch our shows. If you're a stand-up or want to try stand-up, it's got a lot of mics. There it is. Kravitz flashed it on the screen for me.
If a comedian wants to come on and do a set, they just contact you guys?
They don't even have to. They could literally just go to rampantly.la. Takes 2 seconds to join. There's 16 mics. There's a whole list. Find one on a day you want to work out, click on it, and go ahead and list yourself. It's that easy.
Well, and so is each room that comedian's room, or is it?
No, these are hosted shows. These are hosted shows, and they've been going on. Some of them have been going on for months and months and months. In fact, I happen to host a couple of shows on Rampantly. I host one on Thursdays called Splitsville with Gabe Abelson, who was David Letterman's head monologue writer for 10 years. So Gabe and I host a show called Splitsville, and that's on Thursdays, and you could get on that. And then on once a month, I host a show which is like all headliners. And Tuesday night, there's a dirty show, if you want to do that, called Blue Mike. That's actually the show that launched the entire platform. And that's actually tonight. If there's a comedian watching this show who's never done it and wants to go on Rampantly, you can go list for the Blue Mic and tell some dirty jokes tonight.
So what do you do? Put your Venmo up at the bottom, or is there a ticket price, or?
Not right now, nope. Oh, we do sell tickets to some shows, but the open mics we don't, and mostly we don't, unless they're feature shows where they're booked with specific comedians. The show I do on the weekend with the veteran headliners, we sell tickets to. And in fact, we've got we're going to be supplying all the virtual comedy for in fact, Kravitz, we should talk. The Las Vegas 420 Comedy Fest this year, they contacted us and asked if we would supply the virtual comedy for the festival. So we're going to be doing 3 shows a day, 15 shows total over 5 days, all for the Las Vegas 420 Comedy Festival starting on Tuesday, 420. So maybe you want to broadcast. Maybe you want to broadcast live on Rampantly.
On Rampantly, there you go. People
we have 1,000 members, a lot of eyes, Krav.
Oh, that's great. So do you have to be a member to watch, right?
No, theoretically, no. You don't have to. Depending on how it's streamed, no, you could watch it on Zoom.
Okay.
It's a public Zoom room. If it's a public Zoom room without tickets, you could watch it on Zoom, and we post the link on Rampantly, and you can go watch the shows. And
there's nothing wrong with
we stream them live on Facebook.
Nothing wrong with putting a little banner under there, where people could see their PayPal or their website,
You're an ass.
You know what I mean? I mean, look, it's good because people can understand what you're talking about. Like, oh, Rampantly, how do you spell that? You're like, oh, there it is.
It's rampantly.la, and it's the most brilliant comedy. I'm serious, and I'm not just saying that. It really, really is something that is so singular unto itself. There's nothing like it online. There really is nothing like it online. And so if comedy is your thing, it's a great place to go.
Well, it's good and giving people the opportunity, and obviously it's you have open mic night too, right? When people just want to come and try it, or is every night kind of open mic?
Every night. So Jolie RX, the woman who actually founded the platform, designed it to be extremely open and giving, and in no way very communal. Her vision is to make it more of a commune, something very open space for everybody to be able to come and volunteer if you want to and be a part of it. But it's something that has grown very, very quickly in a very short period of time. I really have to take my hat off to her. From launching it until the time I met her, and she is a force to be reckoned with. Really. Well,
yeah. Nice work.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And I think it really did a great thing for stand-up comedy.
We got a Twitch question. Twitch, one of my favorite platforms with my Space Ranger Spinnerd. How are the open mic nights in Los Angeles? I heard they were brutal. I mean, in general, when you were coming up and doing open mic,
it would be like heaven today. There were 18 open micers in LA when I was coming up in 1986.
You mean 18 open micers as far as different ones all over the city?
No, I mean there were 18 guys, 20 guys. We all showed up at the same open mics. There were like 4 open mics.
And what do you get? You get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or does it based on how many people are there?
Yes, and they were all at the comedy clubs. The one was at the Laugh Factory, Monday night at the Comedy Store, Sunday night at the Improv, Saturday afternoon, the Dave McNary show at the Ice House. Those were the open mics. You didn't go to coffee shops, and that didn't even exist. You went to the open mics, then you sat in the club and watched the pros work. Like, that's what you did. And now there's like 500 people who show up for one open mic sometimes.
Really?
I mean, I walked past the Improv one night. There was a snake line coming off of it. This was before COVID. And I said to some guy, like, oh, who's performing tonight? They go, open mic. And I go, what? And they go, yeah, this is the line to sign up for the open mic. There had to have been 80 people.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I was just walking down Melrose.
All those people are not funny.
All of them. There might be a couple. God bless them all for wanting to get funny. And if they want to get funny, keep working and working. Stand-up comedy is so hard. It's difficult.
How would someone break in today?
I just go to open mics and be smart and original, and just remember that it doesn't happen overnight. The problem is, here's the problem, Krav.
It doesn't happen open mic, or it doesn't happen over mic?
It doesn't happen over mic. The problem is that when I started, you knew that there was a developmental process. The internet didn't exist, so YouTube didn't exist. And a guy doing a funny thing by pulling something out of his nose and getting 1 million followers all of a sudden makes him a sensation. That didn't exist. So you actually had to work at the craft to get funny. But now it's different. And because of YouTube and the internet, people have this expectation that, oh, I can do stand-up comedy for 6 months and I'm a headliner. And unfortunately, in very few cases because of YouTube, that's true, but it's fleeting and it doesn't last. You know, it's so hard. You remember when I started, I was terrible. I sucked.
Hey, well, and even today, it's hard to stick with all the information coming out. And you're right, people scooping you now because they got a handle on the technology and they can ride a skateboard while mouthing the words "the dreams," drinking cranberry.
I saw that guy. He got a truck.
He got more than a truck. He got so many. He had like other advertising endorsements. He did like an ad with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, people are getting famous now for the most inane things. And for me, the drop off was when reality TV started on the red carpet. I saw the drop off in the town coming in because all of a sudden it was people from Survivor and, it was like people that were just famous because they were on a television show about, being stuck in the tropics with each other.
I know. And I lived on the street to study with Stella Adler. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the dichotomy of it is so weird.
Yeah. Everybody's a spectacle.
That's the thing. Like Jolie would say, the woman who owns Rampaging, she would tell you, just get your social marketing, get your socials, get your marketing.
Well, nowadays that's
if you're funny, and if you're converting, I think that, yeah. But if you're converting.
All right, here it is. So the Space Ranger Spinnerd has done some stand-up in Chicago, but found improv easier than stand-up. And I would think improv's got to be kind of impossible to go out there and be consistent for your 5 minutes. What do you think?
I studied improv at Second City. In fact, Rick Overton was one of my improv mentors. We were members of the improv troupe at the Improv on Melrose for several years together. And improv requires a lot of listening and a lot of fast thinking and trust, and learning to not say no. You know, there's that rule, always supply, never deny. It's very difficult. And stand-up's a totally different art form. Like, it's like racquetball and tennis. One you play with your wrist, and one is all in your arm. Yeah.
How's your wrist?
It's pretty good.
All right. So let's get the plugs all in.
All right.
RichardChassler.com is the website.
That's my website.
If you want to book Rich, if you want him to come over, and he's talented in many things. Very good joint roller. Good choice in playlists. He can do many things besides comedy. His IG, Richard Chassler, and his Twitter, The Funny Wino, and Rampantly is what we've been talking about, the rampantly.la platform that you can catch your hot comedy. Rich, thanks so much for coming to talk to us. Is there anything else you want to tell the folks out there?
No, man. I mean, Kravitz, I cannot even thank you enough for having me. We could do another one of these in 6 months and cover a whole other vibe from cannabis and dispensaries. And yeah, I'll say one thing. Yesterday was Mitch Hedberg's 16th anniversary of his passing. He was one of my best friends. So if everybody wants to just go turn on a Mitch Hedberg joke and listen to some brilliant stand-up, Mitch will deliver it to you.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I walked in and there's my son watching Mitch Hedberg on.
No way.
Yep. Totally into Hedberg.
Zach likes Hedberg.
Yeah. He's like, what? You're watching Mitch Hedberg? And I knew who he was, but I didn't even have to look. I was like, dude, Hedberg. And he's like, yeah. I mean, he was an amazing comic. He had a completely unique look at life.
Dude, I can tell you, like, when Mitch and I met, we spent 2 weeks together on the road. And I mean, it's literally, we were doing a comedy competition in Colorado. There were 15 people for 2 weeks riding in 2 vans. It was Judy Marmel's competition that morphed into Aspen. And Mitch and I immediately became best friends at the airport. We rode together, roomed together. We were inseparable. And every night we finished 14th and 15th.
Wow.
Every night. And every night I'd get off stage and Mitch was like, man, Chassler, you are the funniest guy in this pack. And then Mitch would get off stage and I'd be like, dude, you killed it. And he didn't. And I'd be like, you are the funniest guy here, because I got what he was doing. I was the only guy in the room laughing. And we got each other and nobody else got us. And we literally finished 14th and 15th every day.
That is fucking classic. Yeah. Well, God rest his soul, and God watch over all of us, because we all need a little help these days.
Dude, I love you. I hope that you had a good time today.
Thank you. It's always good to catch up with you, Rich.
Always
Thanks
good
for coming on 420 Live.
And don't forget, richchassler.com and rampantly.la. And keep watching 420 Live, because Kravitz kills it every day.
There you go. Thank you, buddy. Talk to you soon. There you go. Catching up with old friends. I know today's a busy day. It's Tuesday. Thank you, Rich Chassler, coming on the show, chatting with us. Tomorrow in the hot seat, Outside Lands. Oh, boy. Alan Scott, Rick Farman coming on the show. We're going to talk about what's happening, because everybody's got a lot of questions for these guys. So line them up, because tomorrow we're going to have the Outside Land guys here. And also, Alan Scott does a little festival called Life is Beautiful also. So we can hit him up about that. And Rick Farman created Bonnaroo. And we've had Rick on the show before. It's been a while. It'd be good to have everybody back here on 420 Live. All my fish friends out there, you got the dinner and a movie for the Island Tour. I was with my good friend Clayton Halsey. I went to the first 2 nights of the Island Tour because we were like, Fish is playing, we're going. But I had another job, I think, on the next 2 nights. I had to get back. But I saw the Nassau shows. Trip balls, Halsey and I. The whole world was crooked that night. Oh, man. But what a show. Oh, my God. I had such a great time. My friend Larry Saltrin was with us. Larry did all the graphics on 420 Live. It's everybody. It's everybody that's been part of the team. They've been with me for a long time. And, we appreciate everybody here. Thursday, we're going to have Susan Saris on the show. Susan is a cannabis activist and has done many of the green rooms at like Coachella, where people would stop and get their supplies before they went into do their set, so that they were well lubricated. So Susan's going to be on the show on Thursday. Friday, still filling. Next week, Clem Burke, the Riverkeeper, Taz, Niederman. So many great people I got talking to right now. We're going to do it all. Everybody have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy dinner and a movie, Island Tour, and we'll see you back here on 420 Live tomorrow. Peace, love, and happiness, everybody out there. Big, big hug. Get your own Tipatina shirt. Go over to tipatinas.com and get yourself some merch. Go to DBA, go to Pres Hall, go to all our favorite venues there in New Orleans. My friend Eric Newson is down in New Orleans. He said New Orleans is popping right now. There's music on. There's a band on every corner. Everybody's playing outside because they're just starting opening indoor venues, and hopefully they'll be up to 100%. You know, New Orleans is on my schedule of places I want to go in the next month or so. You know, so we're going to get down there and check it out. Hey, Dave Liebner, how you doing? Vegas, I heard Vegas is hot. Vegas is on fire too right now. Liebner out there. We're going to have you and your lady on the show soon telling us about what's going over there in Vegas and all the good eats down there at the Las Vegas Test Kitchen down there in downtown by the Ferguson Hotel. Right? I got that right, didn't I? Thank you, friends. Thank you, friends. We'll see you back here tomorrow talking Outside Lands, which means we're going to be talking festivals, which has a lot to do with your future. So you're going to want to be there. Jeff Kravitz signing off. Everybody have a great night. Adios.